Hey everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 182. I'm your host Rico, here with my co-host.
Buongiorno. It is I, Dane Cody.
I was confused for a second. I'm like, who the hell's Buongiorno? Oh, Mr. Special Buongiorno, Dane Cody, and a special guest.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I just had to. Anyway, we'll get to that later. That's my Pokeball Plus controller, which we'll be talking about in our what we've been playing. But anyway, welcome everyone. Dane and I get together once a week, talk about video games, TV, movies, or whatever the hell we like. Pretty much mostly video games, as entertainment on TV and movies has sucked. But lately. Well, not really, but I'm just... Besides Castlevania, I haven't watched any TV in like ever, let alone movies.
I've been watching lots of stuff, but
I know
it
you are.
Isn't necessarily relevant to like what we talk about on this show.
Yeah. It's not cool. It's like just lame.
Yeah.
Normally start the show with what we've been playing, get into some news and stuff, our public service announcements, and of course our free-for-all section. And before all of that, we're knee-deep in the BS right now. But to be honest, I don't really have a lot to report over the weekend besides games I'll be talking about. I did set up my Christmas lights.
I saw that. Nice, like Grinchy Grinch on the front there.
My neighbors were all looking at me sideways like, you jerk.
It's because they know that their wives are going to come home now. And be like, how come we don't have Christmas lights up?
It was funny the next day.
And then they're going to have to go out and deal with that shit.
The next day, my neighbor was out there throwing them up, and he's like, man, my daughters love your Grinch. At least 3 times a day, they're screaming out the front window, Grinch! And now I'm out here putting the freaking lights on. Thanks. And I'm like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a little early. I really didn't have much choice. Like, we go away this weekend. I'm going to see your ugly mug.
Beautiful mace. Yeah.
And then next weekend is like my birthday weekend. And then it's like Christmas parties are starting. And it's just like, if I didn't do it then, it would have still happened. But it's just like,
oh yeah. Your wife wouldn't let you not do that.
We're going to blink our eyes here. Black Friday's going to be over. We're going to be trampled in a parking lot. And then it's going to be New Year's.
Wow, we're just going to skip Christmas?
It's just going to fly by. That's how this all works.
No, that's fair.
It seems like it's so far away, and then boom, here we are.
Yeah, the next thing you know, it's 3 days before Christmas, and you're out there trying to grab all your Christmas presents and shit, going like, ah!
Speaking of Black Friday, everyone, happy Thanksgiving to you American friends. Hopefully you get some cool deals. Mm-hmm. I've already taken advantage of the Black Fridays, because seriously, Black Friday started like the day after Halloween or something, I think.
Something like that.
It's
getting ridiculous.
It's like earlier and earlier.
It's getting really ridiculous.
It kind of, honestly, to me, it almost spells that retail must not be doing that good.
They gotta get that money out of you.
Gotta get them peoples in the store earlier. Anyway,
yeah.
Dane,
what up?
What have you been playing?
I've been playing a little game called Hitman 2.
As have I.
I should not have slept on this game as long as I did. It's fucking good.
Oh, we didn't really sleep on it. We got it on launch day.
No,
we didn't get it early, but like you mean the series in general, right?
Yeah, like so Hitman, the last Hitman game came out in 2016, and it was episodic. They released like one level, and by level I use that term loosely because these levels are massive. They're so big, and they release like one level every like couple months or whatever over the course of just about a year, and that was kind of how that game got released.
Good or bad?
Yeah. And a lot of people were like, oh, I don't really like that. And some people really did like it. And I heard it was really awesome and stuff, but like I tried to get into like Hitman games before that.
And we both own the Hitman 2016.
Totally.
I played it a bit. I think I even talked about it a tiny bit on the podcast.
Yeah, I think you said you'd like started it.
Yeah, I started
into it a little bit.
Really
you were like,
it.
"Oh, it seems really cool," and then never touched it again.
Yeah, and then something else happened. Video games. Here's a new release for you every week.
So Hitman 2 came out. It was provided to us by Warner Brothers, which is pretty rad. And so I went and I did the training, and so they did a really cool thing where if you own Hitman, the one that was released in 2016, all of the levels from Hitman, essentially, we'll call it Hitman 1, okay, just for simplicity here.
The whole game has essentially been semi-remastered and imported into this game.
Exactly. So I loaded up Hitman 2. I did a bunch of the training and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm watching, like, the old maps from Hitman 1. They're all, like, downloaded. Like, the whole game just, like, got sucked into my Hitman 2 game. So now I finish everything, and I go to start a Hitman 2 mission, like the first mission in Hitman 2.
And it gives you that prompt.
And it's like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? If you played Hitman 1, then by all means, like, go ahead and go play this. But if you haven't, maybe you should go back and check out the story.
Yeah, if you want to get the most of the story, start here.
So I'm not going to lie. I was like, well, I didn't fucking play Hitman 1. I should probably go back and start that. So I actually dove back. I went back in time.
So you're playing Hitman 1
2 years ago.
Hitman 1 2.
Exactly. Because all of the gameplay changes and things that they've done for
Upgrades.
Hitman 2, exactly,
Engine.
all of that is all in those levels still. So blending in with the crowd and
it's like a new
being
old
able
game.
to so all those changes and tweaks and stuff that they made for Hitman 2, those all transpire back into those old levels. So it's like I've just got double the Hitman 2 content. So I actually went back. I know you didn't do this.
No, I did a little bit of both.
Okay.
So I played some more over the last couple of days, and I did. I completed the training.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use completed anything in this game with quotation marks
loosely.
Very loosely. Because a big part of let's rewind a little bit. Well, not even rewind. Let's unpack Hitman.
Yes.
Hitman is an assassination game, third person action game, but not really. It's almost more of a puzzle game.
I was going to call it a giant murder sandbox.
Yeah, but it's not outright like fast-paced murder. It's premeditated murder to like the nth degree.
That's what I mean though. By like it's a murder sandbox. Like it is a Hitman sandbox where they've given you this giant level. People are going to do their thing, and you get the marks. And really, how you want to go about murdering said people is entirely up to you.
It's a Rube Goldberg murder sandbox machine.
Exactly. And like, so I've been playing it with the, so there's essentially mission, what are they called? They're,
mission guides.
There's mission guides. So I've been playing through each level so far. Each level has a couple different mission guides, and what those mission guides do is it essentially is kind of like a go here, do this, go here, do that, go here, do that.
Guides you through the level, a little bit.
So it's like you're doing the stuff, but it's kind of very straightforward. It's like, oh, you should go over here and grab the, you're going to need to go take this guy out so that you can get the disguise that will get you to get to the next point. And then once you get that, it's like, okay, well, now you need to go here. Like it kind of guides you through. But that being said, like there's different, and each each mission guide will add like a lot of it adds to like the story. So like
Finding
for example,
files, hacking computers,
exactly,
eavesdropping on the marks conversations.
Yeah, and like learning, it's like fleshing out the world, fleshing out the story, fleshing out the characters. Like so, for example, in the one training mission, they walk you through talking, infiltrating this base, and then you sabotage an airplane ejection seat, and then you guide the mark to that seat, and you put him in there, and then you do a quote-unquote safety check with him, and he pulls the handle, and it like he shoots up into the air, and he dies.
Yeah, you might have seen that little clip I shared on Twitter.
Yeah, but you can also go about that mission if you want, as I played that mission a bunch of different times. But a second mission guided tour thing that they do was you go in and you actually take over the disguise for like the lieutenant of the whole base. So you go in, you knock him out, you steal his clothes, and then it goes in and there's a bunch more story stuff before you kill the mark. And then of course how you decide to take out the mark is entirely up to you. You could shoot him in the head, or you could throw him out a window, or you could poison him, or there's a plethora of different murderous ways.
If you look at any mission, they show you the challenges, and there's upwards of like 10 to 30 challenges for a level, and it's like all the different ways that you can kill your target, which is kind of cool because obviously the replayability in this game is through the roof.
Which is actually why I think I kind of wish I would have played the first one back when they released it in 2016 as an episodic game, because every one of these levels I want to keep playing over and over again. Totally, because like you see all these different things, you see all these different ways
and you learn
to go
different
about
stuff too, right?
Oh, absolutely. And like each time, like you learn kind of like, oh, he's gonna go here, he's gonna go there. So like the one of the missions that I was doing was like it's a Paris fashion show.
Yeah,
I did that. You're there like with a giant house, and like the first guy I was like following him around, and like the first time I murdered him, I dropped like a chandelier on his head. And another time I murdered him, I shot him in the head.
Yeah, I shot him on the catwalk.
Okay, there's another one where I pushed a speaker on his head. There's another one where I went outside and I messed with a wire, and then when he like walked by, I waited for his bodyguard to cross, and then I flipped the switch and he walked by, and like it like electrocuted him. And like there's just so many different, so like every time you play it, there's like so many different ways to do it, and it like I can't play this game too close to bed because I end up going to bed and then I just lay there and think, totally. All this like, oh man, I wonder if I was to do this, if that would pull him into here, because then you can like use distractions and stuff. Like I used like water overflowing to like pull one of them into like one of the bathrooms, and then I bashed his head against like the like toilet. Like there's just so many different little things. Or maybe you're gonna poison the sushi, or maybe you're gonna like make him a bad drink. And there's just there is literally hundreds of ways to do that for every level. So needless to say, like, don't sleep on that game. Fucking go get it. It is great.
It is really cool. I did that the level. I didn't replay it again because I just wanted to see. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do the hit. That's the first level from Hitman 2016 or Hitman 1.
Yeah.
And after I did that, then I went into Hitman 2. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, I want to see the new stuff. So I went and did the first little mission, and I started the second mission, which is actually kind of funny. The second mission is what I played at E3, the racetrack in Miami.
Yep, the Miami race.
But yeah, it's so cool. Like the disguises, hiding bodies, all the mechanics. Enforcer enemies. So like you'll have enemies with a white dot over their head, and you can't fool them with the disguise because they know clearly who their coworkers are and who's on their crew. And I was in one area where a disguise wouldn't work. I couldn't take out a guy because everyone in there would know. They're like, who the fuck's this guy, right?
Or you gotta kidnap the right guy and then become them. As I've learned, there's like tiers, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, so if you roll into an area as like one of those guys, and like all the enforcers, like everybody in that area is essentially an enforcer. But if you find the right disguise as somebody else or somebody else on a different crew or their boss, then that goes away.
Yeah.
So that's the other aspect of it, right?
So that, like, enforcers are like bodyguards, security guards, police, crew.
Or sometimes
workers,
it's just like fellow like workers,
random people.
like supervisors on the like AV crew or whatever, right?
And it's a good looking game. Like,
looks good, runs good.
It runs fantastic. We're both playing on PC.
Yeah,
I don't have my frame rate counter on, but it's on ultra and it's like butter, silky smooth.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with how it runs. It's well over 60. I think I've got a lock to 60,
and I'm like
almost
you,
always 60.
It's a fun. Yeah, I think because it does. I think mine's locked to 100 because that's what my monitor is 100. That's what it opted for the hertz or whatever. Anyway, it's a cool game. I'm really enjoying it. I did like what I played of the last one, but it's the classic. Something else came along, pulled me away. I didn't get in long enough to get my hooks, and now that I've started Hitman 2, it's like, oh, I want to play more. This is really good.
It's hard for me to go away from it now. Like every time I go to like play something else, I'm like, oh, I can play some Hitman. Oh,
and it's just fun monkeying around.
Oh, totally. And that like they're really liberal with the save system, so it auto saves quite well. But it also gives you a whole ton of like open save slots, so you can very easily, if you think you're gonna like, I wonder what's gonna happen.
Yeah, if you want to try something out, I'm gonna bust in this room and do this and see what happens.
Yeah, and you can totally save, bust in the room, and if it goes badly, then you can just
go back,
roll back to the previous save. It's not a big deal.
They know it's a video game, so
totally.
There is super hardcore mode. That limits saves or doesn't allow you to save at all.
Yeah,
that's the higher difficulty. So
that's also like, I think every level has a like professional like mode where you go in the level. You're not allowed to use any disguises. You have to wear the suit, like his suit, the black tuxedo with the white shirt and the red tie. And you have to get in, kill your mark, and get out without being detected. And you don't get any saves, like everything. Like it's like that's the hardcore mode.
Oh, yeah. I'm not there yet.
No, I had one go real badly, and I spent way too long trying to get the hell out of the
and the thing is you get points, and you earn unlocks for when you replay a level. Mm-hmm. You get ratings, star rating for how well you did, how long you took. And of course, you get bonus points for like not getting seen, killing. Like you don't want
hiding all the
you're not
bodies.
supposed to kill anyone besides your target.
Yeah,
even if they're a bad guy, bodyguard or whatever, you lose points. You're just you're in a professional elite assassin. It's get in, get out, and you get your target, and that's it.
Yeah,
and so that's a perfect playthrough on. Like I got 5 stars on one level because that's exactly what I did. I just got the target. I was never seen. I didn't trip any. I didn't get caught on any cameras.
And you did it in a good amount of time.
Yeah, and I did it in a good amount of time. Like I think I did.
That's the other key is you got to do it because I had a couple where I like didn't get seen, didn't all of that, but it took me too long.
Yeah, I think I did.
That cost me a star.
I think I did a level in like 8 minutes. And it's like 5 stars. And I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool game, man. I really like it.
It's so good.
I think I've seen it already. Has it been on sale for Black Friday anywhere? I don't know if I actually have seen it.
I don't know that Hitman 2 has been. Hitman 1 has been. So yeah, I mean, if you pick up Hitman 2, make sure to pick up Hitman 1 on like a sale as well, because all those levels get imported in and it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hitman 1's pretty inexpensive everywhere.
And they do say that there is going to be some like DLC.
Oh yeah, they already have. One thing that they did with Hitman 1 was the elusive targets every couple months.
Oh, dude, that's like every couple of weeks sometimes. Yeah,
so right now they have, I think it's 2 weeks right now, the first elusive target for Hitman 2. It's Sean Bean.
Yeah.
What do they call him? Is that a title for
the
him?
Unkillable... The
Undying or something.
The Undying, yeah.
Kind of like a joke because he dies in everything.
Yeah, he's died in a lot of his movies.
But
and that's, I believe, how do those work? Like, there's a thing on those where, like, if you screw it up, you only get kind of like one shot at it. I can't remember, but
they're kind of like a live event. I'm not sure. I've never done one before.
I haven't either.
But yeah, they're elusive
and
yeah, like I feel like
the idea
you only
is
get
they're
one
only
shot.
here for a little, and they're only here for like a little while or whatever.
Maybe you can reload it and try again, but I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll find out. We'll report next week.
Yeah, there you go.
Dane will get the Undying Sean Bean.
Hopefully, I do have the next couple of days off, so
obviously, as well as Hitman, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out last week. So I purchased it digitally on my Switch.
The Pikachu one, right?
Pardon?
You bought the Pikachu one?
I bought Pikachu because I like Pikachu. He's my man. Even though, I got when you start the game, your starter Pokemon's sex is randomized. So I actually have a female Pikachu with the little heart tail or whatever. So anyway,
sure,
it is. It's a remake, remaster of Pokemon Yellow. It's a new game, a new old game.
Yeah,
it's on the Switch. It's the old Pokemon, the same like gym trainers, essentially the same town, same people, but obviously they fleshed everything out. You know, it's a far cry from the old Game Boy version, and I believe. Is it Omega? I think Omega is also a remake of Pokemon Blue.
I don't know, man.
And that's on 3DS. I believe they're remakes of Red and Blue. Yeah.
Sure.
Remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, which are old Game Boy games.
Totally.
So, anyway.
Why do we care about those ones?
Well, just because this is just like in that vein. It's a older game, but on the newer hardware, so it's got like the new features and stuff, right?
Okay.
The big hooks with this one is the Pokeball controller, which that's what you were hearing with Pikachu. It's basically a one-handed controller. It's got 2 buttons on it and a little analog stick.
Right.
It basically has a gyroscope in it and sensor in it as well. So if you're playing on the TV, you can use it, obviously, to play the game. The big thing with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is that they've changed the catching mechanic. You don't use Pokemon to beat down other Pokemon and get them into the red and then use Pokeballs to capture them. You are using just Pokeballs, like in the mobile game, throwing Pokeballs at the Pokemon to catch them, which kind of makes sense. Like, oh, there's a wild creature. Here's my little capture device. I throw it at them. Totally makes sense.
I've also heard that it's no longer all the Pokemon are on the screen.
Yes, it's also not random encounters. You see them running around. So if you see a rare spawn, you can just run to it and attempt to catch it. Now, catching them is
that right there makes me intimately more interested in playing this game right off the bat.
Yeah, it's cool because you don't. If you want to, you can capture them. You don't have to. There is tons of battling. Like, people were worried because they're like, oh, it's got the Pokemon Go, like, oh, throwing balls, swiping, that's lame. And it's like, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It's streamlined. It's quick. I find it doesn't feel as grindy as always doing battles, because to be honest, they've added a lot of trainer battles in this, like way more than the original game. Because you level up by catching Pokemon, and you level up through trainer battles, which are your classic 3D rendered, really cool, awesome animated attacks on the screen. Pokemon versus Pokemon. It's a Pokemon game. They've just changed the one aspect of you just don't grind in battle to capture. You do the Pokemon Go throw balls, which is kind of cool. And the Pokemon, the Pokeball Plus controller simulates that throwing mechanic, which is, it's all right. It works. It's fine. It's kind of cool that you could do it one-handed, so you could really be doing something else at the same time.
Yeah, that's,
If you buy the controller, it's got, it comes preloaded. Mew is loaded into it, and then you can import him into the game. And apparently that's the only way people currently know how to get Mew. Be it the game hasn't even been out a week yet, so there most likely is other ways to capture him.
Right.
Besides acting as a controller, you can also use it as a Pokemon Go Plus in the mobile game, so you could sync it to your phone if you don't have one of those Pokemon Go Plus little wristband dongle thingies. And it alerts you to when Pokemon are nearby to capture them or spin Pokestops in the mobile game. I don't really feel like that's an awesome use for it because it's big. Whereas the actual Pokemon Go Plus is like you can wear it on your wrist. It's a little handier. But
but you can use it with Pokemon Go as well, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. The mobile game.
Right.
So,
and I heard like it kind of in a weird way kind of breaks the game though.
Breaks
because like every time, like you can have that sync to your Pokemon Go, and then as you drive around or walk or whatever,
yeah,
it automatically
that's what it doesn't automatically catch. It's not how it works.
No, it automatically hits the Pokestops though.
No,
really? Because I was like just listening to somebody else that was saying like it hits all the Pokestops and stuff for you automatically, so you like get all the loot and stuff, so you don't even need to like. It doesn't catch the Pokemon, but
I would have to look into that when
you're driving around.
Because I have a Pokemon Go Plus, and it doesn't hit Pokemon Stop. It doesn't hit the Pokestops for you.
But I hear that one does.
Oh, well, maybe it does. I don't know.
Yeah. So I was. But the thing is like,
that's the thing with the Pokemon Go Plus. They updated the game so that you can't do it if you're traveling too fast.
Yeah,
so I don't know I don't know how.
It really sucks when you're a passenger in a car and you can't.
Well, even as a passenger,
hit them anymore,
unless you're like at an intersection, you can't get those free stops and stuff. You're going too fast. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. But what I was going to say, I think the coolest feature of it is as you heard Pikachu in there, you can load your Pokemon onto it, and it counts your steps, and they talk to you and they make noises and. You interact with them. You can play with the stick. They get happy. You shake it around. They call out for your attention. And the more steps you take with it, you get like massive experience. Like I went to the park with it in my pocket, and I wasn't actively using it at all. And I came home, and I literally got like 6,000 experience for one of my Pokemon. So I like literally power leveled one of my single digit Pokemons from like level 2 or something up to like 14 or 15, which is
that's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome for like if you say caught a new Pokemon that you want to use, you can kind of fast forward him up to the levels of your party and whatnot and make him usable, as opposed to losing that. The tactic in Pokemon is you have a party of 6 and you get a new one. It's like, oh, that's a good Pokemon type that I want to use. You usually park them in your 6th slot, and your party essentially turns into a party of 5, right? Or less if you're trying to level up multiple weak Pokemon you've just caught. So it's kind of cool. It's neat for that. It's expensive. It's like $65 Canadian. So
whoa,
I don't know. I think it's like what, $5 American.
Can you get the bundle? Like, what's is that for the bundle, or is that just for the little
Pokeball controller?
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
It is. It's expensive.
So what's the combo pack then?
The combo's the game. Oh, it's 130 Canadian. So I don't know what this thing is American. I think it's like must be 49 or $55 American. I don't know. Wow. I think it's neat. I've been giving it to my daughter. I load a Pokemon in it and give it to my daughter, and she just sits there shaking it, earning me XP. The only other downside I would say is like Pikachu and Eevee are the only ones that have that very like high quality like sound effects, like and voices. Like the other ones just have like their Game Boy like growly like distortion sounds, which sound pretty terrible.
Fair enough.
So I don't know if that's something they might update, add like better for more Pokemon. I doubt it that they would do that. It's Nintendo. But
Right.
I think it's kind of neat. If you're a hardcore Pokemon fan or an amiibo loving idiot like me, I would say it's a cool device. For everyone else, you probably don't need it.
It sounds like a not need for me.
No, it's not for Dane. But anyway, I think it's cool.
I'm a lot more interested in the game.
Yeah,
now.
so it is like it's not well. It's baby's first RPG. We've talked about Pokemon games over the years because there's been Sun and Moon came out, and I played those, and I talked about them on the show. It obviously doesn't have as many Pokemon. It's the original 151 or whatever it is. It's
all the ones I only care about.
Yeah,
anyways.
it's the one that most people have a lot of nostalgia for. But to be honest, there's lots of cooler, better Pokemon since the original. But
you shut your face. Well, that's not true.
But they're awesome. There is a lot of awesome Pokemon there. Like right now, I'm rocking Pikachu, Charizard, Ivysaur. I don't have my Blastoise yet. He's a Wartortle still, and Onix and Mew in my party. Was that 6? I don't know. Sure. Why not? And it's an RPG, turn-based. Your Pokemon level up. They have 4 attacks. It's all kind of like a paper, rock, scissors. Depending on the type of Pokemon, one type is better against another.
Yep.
And if you have the right mix, you usually have a solution for every type of enemy trainer you're fighting or battle you come into. And what I love is being over-leveled. It's classic JRPG. You can be super over-leveled because you can grind, and then you walk into a fight and you one-shot everything because you have the perfect opposite types for what you're battling, which is awesome. Like I get annoyed when I have to like do 2 attacks to kill an enemy. I'm like, God damn it. Because they happen to be a normal type strong Pokemon or something. Once there's so many types of Pokemon, you can't necessarily have the perfect counter for everything out there.
Right.
So I don't know how many types there are, but there's a lot now because they've added a lot over the years. I was kind of like annoyed. I'm like, it doesn't show like in Sun and Moon, like the newest one, 7th gen, let's call it, which is the last version on 3DS, has when you're in battle, it kind of highlights if you have a move that's like a super effective versus your enemy, it highlights that. So it kind of takes the thinking out of it, and it lets you be lazy with not remembering that the type of Pokemon you're fighting or like which moves are effective in your crew of guys. You can just go through and see, he has super effective move, I'll switch him in, and then this fight's going to be over really quickly.
Yeah.
They don't have that in this, but you can get more information at the start of the match. You can just hit your Y button and see what type the other Pokemon is if you can't remember it. Because some of them are obvious. They're on fire, or they're water, they're like water creatures. And some are obvious, and some are like, what freaking type is that guy? I can't remember. So you can hit the Y button, find out what type they are, and like, okay, I've got the counter for that or whatnot. So at first I was kind of like, I hate that they don't have the, it does make it a little, I don't know. Some people like it, some people don't.
It's helpful for me, like for people that aren't like super ingrained in the
and the thing is
in the Pokemon stuff though, because like sometimes you're right, like it's not super easy just to be like, it's this, you know what I mean? Like, so I can see that would be for somebody like me, like there's 151 originals. I kind of know what most of them are, but I don't necessarily know their type. You know what I mean? I've probably seen them, or I kind of know what their whole thing is, but it's not their type, so that could be very helpful.
Yeah, because you've got psychic, dark, electric, bug, water, ground, rock, ice, poison, normal, ghost, fairy, fighting, dragon, grass, flying, fire, steel. The thing
aren't some of those like added
some are
in
newer,
the like later games
but
though?
I don't think they've retroactively added some of these in the first game, because I think fairy is one of the newer ones, one of the later gen ones. But I think fairy's the newest one, but I've seen all these types in the game so far.
Right.
But yeah, it's... I don't know. It's really cool. It's super polished. It looks great. It looks awesome in HD. It's like when I played this game back in the day on Game Boy, this game is what was in my mind. You know what I mean? Like your imagination. Yeah. It's Nintendo's just got... I don't know. Their quality is so... They're so on point when they just make just a nice, clean, fun, perfect game. Like they're just masters of it. And again, it is like RPG light. This is not Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy or Persona 5, right?
Right.
But it's just fun and simple, and it's just addicting, and it's fun to catch all the Pokemon. So I don't know. I like the Pokemon games. I'm totally like, it's not. They're not for me, but there's still a quality game there. It's not like this is a quality kids game. It's still a really good game, so I still enjoy aspects of it. So, like, some people might just discount it because they just see Pokemon like, oh, it's a kid game. But it's got depth to it. Like, there's metas to it. Like, there's, there's lots of stuff, and there's just tons of stuff to do in the game. I don't know. I think I'm in the double digits hours-wise because I've been playing it a lot.
Right.
And
it's also on the Switch, though. So
yeah, it's on the Switch, which makes it
there's times where
makes it so easy to jump in and out.
Yeah.
I'm on the 4th gym right now.
How many gyms are in the game?
8 gyms, and then the Elite 4. And then you get into, I guess you could quotation marks, end game stuff.
Right.
But
gotta find Mew and is Mew
I have
is
Mew.
Mewtwo in the game?
I don't know if Mewtwo is in the game. I have no idea. But
he would be my starter Pokemon. So.
Well, you could never get him as a starter, so. But
fuck you and mine, I could.
Like, wait a minute, he's a mythical legendary Pokemon, and he's not a starter, so I don't know how that works, but
it's fine. Mew's
yeah,
cool
it's a cool game, man. I really like it. It makes me super pumped for next year's version as well.
Right. Yeah,
which next year will be more traditional. I haven't even gotten to the point where you can import your Pokemon from the cell phone game into this, which is pretty cool. Because I have some of the Gen 1 legendaries in the cell phone game.
Right.
So it'll make it a lot easier to get those guys into the game instead of having to jump through the hoops and do all the bullshit. You just don't... The thing is I haven't got there yet. You don't just automatically get them when you import them from your cell phone. And it is a one-way ticket. If you take them from the cell phone to your Switch game, they're on your Switch game. That's it. And you still have to capture them again in the Switch game. So...
Wait... Oh, so it's just
it imports them into like a I think it's a safari zone or some kind of park zone, so that they spawn in that area. So then you can just catch them. Make you work for it a little bit. Some people are kind of peeved. It's like, well, I already caught them on the cell phone. It's like, yeah, but then essentially, if you didn't have to catch them again, it's like you could just, some people have all 151 in Pokemon Go, right? Because that was 2 years ago. You could essentially, I have almost all of them in Pokemon Go. I'm like missing like maybe 15 plus or minus.
Right.
So, anyway, it's a cool game. I like it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. I think the Pokeball controller's cool. It's a little expensive.
Yeah, that seems a little pricey.
Yeah, I think Switch is going to sell a lot of copies. It's a good-ass game. And it's got like 2 players, and like, I don't know, I haven't played the 2-player mode, but apparently you can play 2 players, and I don't know, I don't think my daughter's quite old enough for that, but
right.
I've been giving her the freaking Pokeball controller, like I said, and she's been babysitting my Pokemon and earning me experience.
Fair enough.
Which
just gotta like figure out a way to put like attach it to her so she can go get your steps for you,
go
man.
Stick it up on the ceiling fan.
Yeah, there you go.
We don't have a ceiling fan, but I was already thinking about it. I'm like, do I have something that just goes up and down that can just shake it up and down?
That's funny.
I'm sure there's videos on YouTube already.
Oh, I'm
How
sure.
to get the most experience with your Pokeball controller. Hey guys, remember to hit that bell.
Fuck. 24/7 Pokemon Jam. How to do?
I'm making fresh Pokemon videos every day.
Make sure to tune in tomorrow. I shouldn't really make fun. There's a little part of me that's jealous of those bastards. So
of course. Work, real work, not real work. I don't know. Playing games.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting paid. That brings me into my next topic. Which I was already kind of split on last week. Still playing Fallout 76. And man, this game has me torn.
Look, man, just accept that it's a bad game and move on.
Like, there's some things I like, and then there's...
I feel like there's a part of you that's just like, you're like, no, it's a Fallout game. Dane hates those. It can't be bad. He can't be right. It has to be good. I gotta dig deeper. That good game's gotta be here somewhere. Dane can't be right.
There is some good game in there, but man, it's buried under a lot of fucking shit.
It's just a bad fucking game.
To be honest, it should have been delayed 6 months.
You think that would have fixed it? I think that game's got bigger issues than just that.
In a year, this game is going to look so different.
It's possible.
It's going to be like I don't know. The best outcome is they pull a No Man's Sky, which is not Bethesda has the manpower. Fuck. If Hello Games can do it with a handful of employees, I'm pretty sure Bethesda can frickin' turn stuff around. Like, I enjoy the game. Like, I'm having fun. And then at the same time, the jankiness is, like, making me not have fun. Like, the frame rate dips, the lag spikes, the janky-ass enemies. But then it's like I find cool story bits and areas where I'm exploring and having fun in the world. And then at the same time, it's like I come to a swath of land that there's nothing there, and I'm just like, okay, this is boring as hell. And then I started playing with the camping and building stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm having fun building stuff. And then it's like, oh yeah, there's kind of a game here still too, and it's like I'm like up and down like a freaking roller coaster, and I have not been so torn on a game like I think ever. To be honest, because like parts of it are bad and then parts of it are good, and there's too much balance between the two that it's like it's good and bad. So like, you know, two negatives, like, I don't know, they cancel each other out and we're just left with a bad game. I'm level 9. I took part in some events. I've got a lot better weaponry now, but
my understanding is that like, and I mean I saw a little bit of this. It's like there's some interesting things that they've done with story, and you're chasing the overseer around and things like that. But at the same time, the story is kind of one of the biggest issues with that game, where because there's no NPCs, because you're not building relationships with
like
people.
You're not following Nick Valentine on a mission and like having this,
because there isn't any other, I mean, essentially all the people, you know, you're like the servers aren't loaded up with people either. Like when you log in, there's only 24 other people in your instance.
Oh yeah, like, you can go without seeing anyone.
Right, like you could easily play, you know, obviously during the beta, I saw a few people when I was playing in that kind of first starting area, but I mean, I imagine even now, like most of the people have kind of moved on from that, and it's like you may or may not even come across people at this point in the game.
Which is good and bad.
Totally, right? But I just mean like a lot of the things that even for myself that I've always said like I liked about Fallout was the story and was those relationships and was a lot of that, and that was all the stuff that's interesting. So like to me, if you remove all of that, which I mean, it's again, you're not removing all of it, but at a certain point I could even tell in their early beta where, you know, you're picking up audio logs and you're picking up all this and you're picking up all that, and it's like you're getting quests, and I'm doing air quotes here, you're getting quests from dead people that are like it has zero relevance. Like, and obviously like you're going to do it because it's a blip on your map and obviously you want to get the experience, or you want to get the thing or whatever. And like there's a couple, I'm sure, like as you go along, there are unique like stories to tell.
But it's the same thing. It is true. A lot of the missions right now go from point A to B.
Right.
Do the thing, which is the thing is usually grabbing something and bringing it back, or going somewhere and taking something, and it's exact same mechanic over and over again. So it's kind of like.
So I kind of wonder, like, how long till, how many hours in till you kind of go like, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the question. Like, that's where, like, a lot of people that I'm hearing that have dropped 20 hours into it already, and they're going, like, I'm only 20 hours into a Fallout game, and I'm bored of it. I'm tired of it. Like, I feel like, not that I've done everything and seen everything, but, like, I don't feel like there's
seen everything that it's doing.
Exactly. And it's like most of those like crazy Fallout games. It's like you talk to people about the Fallout games and it's always that crazy story and that like the brotherhood and the factions,
the conversation
and, like,
trees, this
totally,
happened
and like
in my
how
game.
you mess with that guy and then you blew up the town because
with this faction and we killed that faction, or your buddy did the exact opposite thing you did. There's like none of that.
None of it. And like, to me, that's the only saving grace of a Fallout game. So you kind of remove all that, and like, and I mean, again, like a lot of people disagree with me on this, but like the gameplay in every Fallout game that I've played so far has been bad. The shooting is not good. That like there's a ton of inventory management that just feels like a chore.
It's
like,
it's not
all
good.
of that stuff is like you wrap it in a cool story and with relationships and so on and so forth, and it kind of makes that stuff
you love the
okay.
Story. Yeah, you love the storytelling. You love the scavenging and the crafting and the building. But then it's like you take out all the storytelling and then you just leave the crafting and the building. It's just like, okay, well,
and that's kind of what Fallout 76 is, at least now.
Yeah,
right?
It sucks, but I want to play more, and I kind of enjoyed the time I put into it. But at the same time,
well, I mean, hey, by all means, like
at the same time, I hate it, and I'm like angry at it. But then I still want to play it, and it's like I get little slivers of joy here and there. Like that's why it's so it's just so annoying. Fuckers, why couldn't you just made a normal fucking Fallout game with multiplayer? Like, how hard could that have been? Clearly too hard.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's almost like there's a couple things going on here. Either this is a test bed for their future games, or they just needed to release something because they had freaking nothing, and they just needed something to bring in money, and they rushed this game out, and it should have really never been released because I don't know. It's like it's unfinished. We're beta testing it. It doesn't even have ultra-wide support. Like I haven't played a freaking PC game in like the last 2 years that doesn't have ultra-wide support.
Right.
It stretches the bloody picture. Like, what the hell? And then their huge patch they had the other day, they still didn't even add the support for it by year's end. So at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I might just stop playing until they actually add the ultra-wide support because
if you stop playing this, you're not going to go back to it.
That's the thing.
It's going to sit installed on your machine for a while, and then you're going to uninstall it.
They fix stuff and add stuff. Like I feel like they should have delayed this freaking game. But and then I think they must have had that thought too, and then like, no, we can't because Anthem and Division 2 comes out, and then no one's going to play us.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. It sucks. I don't recommend anyone buy this game unless you're a huge, and I mean huge Fallout fan that could find some value in this game, like I sort of have, or you just hate yourself. It is already discounted for Black Friday,
right?
So if you are curious, I think I've seen it as low as 30 something American. I think on Green Man right now it's like $33 or something with like a code.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Anyway.
Wow.
So, yeah, Fallout 76.
I mean, well, I told you so.
Shut up.
Moving on.
Shut up. Let's get into some news and stuff. The news.
Yeah.
Destiny 2, Black Armory. Launch date was revealed December 4th. And they're going to reveal it next week. So
is that the new expansion?
It's a new expansion. So annual.
God damn it! I just got Forsaken. There's already another.
Well, you got in like super late.
Shut up.
So next week we'll see what's going on there. To be honest, as much as I'm loving Destiny, do not have a lot of faith that these expansions will be any better than last year's expansions. I'm just saying. I hope they're better, but
these little ones are definitely hard to kind of. They really do not seem to do too much, and I'm like, as much as Forsaken is awesome, I will say it does suck how slow the grind is after you hit the soft cap.
It's super slow. Like that Halloween event.
It's brutal.
Like it sucks.
Yes, I know. Every time I mention this, you talk about the really Halloween event, how you should have went and should have got the gun.
You and Vert got really
it was so good. It would have pushed me up there. Yeah.
You and Verlin got really screwed by not completing the Halloween event, which really...
I'm playing it organically.
Yeah.
No steroids or supplements.
No game enhancing performance drugs.
And like, man, I log in and I play I'll log in and play 2 hours and I'll get like a level, maybe 2 levels.
Yeah, meanwhile
it's painful. It's fucking painful.
Meanwhile, I played with Verlin yesterday and I was on my hunter because I'm like, I've pretty much done everything with minus like the full raid. I've done a third of the raid with my Titan. I'm power level 600 with him. I have multiple 600 armor sets now. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to work on other characters. So I use my hunter.
Yeah, so cool.
No, I just play way too much.
Level 600.
I play way too much Destiny. It's not cool. Not cool at all, even though it's such an awesome
game.
All
right. Carry on.
I was like 550. And then after like, I don't know, we played for an hour and a bit. I was like 580. Like after a few drops, because I had all 600 weapons, so it just drags you kicking and screaming forward.
Yeah, it pulls you forward.
Like big time.
It just sucks because like I'll be, my power level right now is I think I'm 517, and like I'm getting drops for stuff.
Yeah, it's weird. It seems like your drops are barely better. You've even gotten drops that are worse.
Yeah, I've gotten drops that are either exactly the same level that we're talking like fucking exotic drops and shit.
Yeah, that's what you said. You got an exotic that was lower level, didn't you?
I got an exotic the other day, and it was 2 levels below me.
Usually the exotics are like
what the fuck?
Supposed to be like 5 to 10 above you.
Yeah, so it's like I'm getting an exotic that is borderline, and it's a Forsaken exotic.
Maybe your game's broken. They don't like you.
Probably. They're like, that guy. He didn't get Forsaken soon enough, so he gets the shitty drops. So anyways, it's like I love the shooting in that game, and it's a shitload of fun to play. But like, holy god damn it can sure be like frustrating sometimes. Just that it's so slow.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks with an update on that expansion, and I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but I don't have a lot of faith that it's going to be a very good expansion. But whatever.
Yeah.
Forsaken's been awesome, so I'm more Forsaken. So it's gonna be it's gonna be good, but I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be amazing or anything like crazy. I wonder what the power level. But anyway, that's enough of your This Week in Destiny for all you Destiny lovers out there in the Discord.
They love it when we talk about Destiny. Are you sure we don't want to get into the nitty gritty? I mean, I think there was a new patch. We could go over the patch notes.
I think we're good. That was enough. Devil May Cry series joins Castlevania in the new multiverse from Adi Shankar. So
I'm so fucking excited about this. I read this and I was like,
the producer and studio and basically the people that brought us the Castlevania anime on Netflix is doing Devil May Cry. They haven't said which streaming service it's coming to, but it's Devil May Cry, done by the guys who did.
He informed IGN that he acquired the Devil May Cry rights myself, so the jabronis in Hollywood don't fuck this one up too.
Which is fantastic because they probably would have.
Exactly. So yeah, they like he flat out just said like Castlevania overperformed. It did crazy well. They immediately got greenlit for season 3, which we already knew about, so that's amazing. I love this idea because Devil May Cry is right up this guy's alley. It's dark, it's rated R, it's a hard, like, he's gonna do it justice. Like, it's like, there was an anime a few years ago that was Devil May Cry, and it was fine. It was okay. Like, it wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible. It was fine. I feel like he'll do this justice, I think.
Yeah.
I would love to see him add. This would have made me even more excited than I already am if they also would have gotten Bayonetta, because I feel like he would do Bayonetta justice as well.
I'm pretty
if
sure
he brought Bayonetta
sure
justice. That would
not going to be the last series that he gets his hands on. With how good Castlevania turned out. I don't have as much affinity and love for Devil May Cry, but clearly he has a vision on how to respect this stuff, which was clearly demonstrated with Castlevania. So I trust that he'll make the fans of Devil May Cry very happy.
He does an incredible job of taking things and putting them into the medium, and not just like making it dark and making it edgy for the sake of being dark and edgy, but like it just does the source material justice. And a lot of people, I still would love to see his dirty laundry made into an actual movie. That would have been amazing.
A lot of rumors were that it was going to be Zelda, but that'd be pretty sweet. But I don't think Nintendo would be on board.
No, because like the style and the way that he probably would want to do it, I don't know if it would. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see that version of Zelda. I would, in the same vein as Zelda, though, I would rather see him do a Darksiders. That would be cool. Right up his alley. Like, if he got a hold of the Darksiders rights to do this too, so excited.
I think what else would be good? A Dark Souls series would be cool.
I think he could do a good job with that.
What else? I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
Battle Chasers would be fucking rad.
I knew you were going to go there.
Hey, it's the same animation house that did that
did the Castlevania series.
Yeah, it's the same animation house that did the intro animation scene for the Battle Chasers game.
Oh, I got it. That's a Metal Gear series would be really freaking cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
That'll never happen.
No, well, who knows? Castlevania is Konami. I think they're still trying to get that movie off the ground. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's cool.
This is really cool. It's super exciting. I'm very excited about this.
And then we have obviously season 3 was greenlit like on release date of Castlevania 2. Like obviously the numbers were so good. They're like, okay, stamped. Here you go. Make season 3.
Hey, I get it. Talking about Castlevania makes me kind of want to go back and watch it. And I just watched it.
I have already started watching it again. Like, that's how good it is. I don't watch stuff again, really. Besides some of the Marvel movies, I've never watched a TV series ever again.
Wow.
Anyway, Valve pulls the plug on Steam Link hardware. That's not too surprising. I'm actually surprised the Steam Link is still around.
Speaking of which, I have a couple Steam Links.
Yeah, thanks to Brian.
Yeah. We'll have to figure out what that's going to look like. Anyways. They're discontinuing. So is this so they're still making the controller, right?
And they're supporting the Steam Link hardware. They still have some in stock, but
once those are gone, they're gone.
Because they've essentially turned it into software. It's available on smartphones and tablets and built into TVs. So, which is really annoying because Samsung has it on their TVs in the US. They don't have it in Canada. It's so stupid.
Is you mean built into their smart TVs?
Yeah, like it's an app you can download through the Samsung store or whatever.
Oh.
They don't have it here. But my TV supports it. I know people who have my TV in the US who have it.
Yeah, that sounds annoying. Just get an Android
annoying.
TV and you don't have to fucking worry about it. Wait, you have a Steam...
Shut up.
Wait, you have
It doesn't matter.
You have an NVIDIA Shield. Why don't you just fucking load it on there?
It doesn't matter. That's besides the point. I'm complaining because I can. I know I can get it on my Shield. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
The Shield's pretty freaking awesome, I must say. Hands down the best streaming box, period. Android box.
So wait, so the Steam machines, that was a giant bust. Like Steam machines went nowhere. No. They might have even gone less than nowhere. So the Steam Link seemed like it was a thing that obviously they never sold them in Canada, but they seem to do pretty good.
They sold a Steam
elsewhere.
Link here. You can get it at EB Games.
Really?
Yeah.
I looked online and they weren't selling them in Canada.
I've seen them in stores. I've seen them in the EB stores. They might have quit selling them, but they had them.
Maybe.
At some point. They weren't cheap. They were expensive here, which was annoying.
Maybe that was part of the problem because they were like $50 in the States.
Yeah, well, and most people who bought these, I think, what did Brian pay? Like $5 or something? Or $10? Something ridiculous. They were crazy cheap. They would run whenever there was like a Steam sale. The Steam Links would go on sale for like single digits.
Yeah, they definitely got pretty cheap.
It's a cool piece of kit.
So that leaves their controller as the only thing left out of their hardware push that they did a few years ago.
Clearly, because they just have way too many in a big warehouse somewhere. That controller is terrible.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I talked to some people and they like it for playing PC games with a controller. Some of them, I don't know. It looks like an awful controller, though. I don't.
It is an awful controller.
So, anyways, it's just interesting. That's all. Just because, like, they really wanted to get into hardware and, like, none of their hardware stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't expand it because it only supports 1080p. It would have made sense. I don't know. They could have made it more, added more stuff to it, added the Netflixes and stuff, added 4K. Been a competitor, inexpensive streaming Android box, but they're not really. I guess they just don't want to be in that business. They're like, whatever.
Yeah. So, anyways, just gone.
Do we want to talk about this next story? Like, was contemplating removing it.
Moving on.
Okay. Boop. Deleted.
I mean, we could almost skip both of these next. Well,
I want to talk about this next story because I think it's really
fair.
interesting. There's a rapper 2 Milli is considering legal action against Epic Games for using his dance moves in Fortnite. I don't know. Apparently, one of the dances, I don't know which stupid dance it is because I haven't played Fortnite in like freaking months and really almost don't care. Whenever I hear Fortnite, I kind of tune out. Fantastic game, great. They're doing successful, whatever. It's like I'm just kind of sick of it, right?
It's just not your jam.
And anyway, they're making money hand over fist. Everyone knows this. It's no surprise. Ninja's a billionaire. Epic's billionaires. Everyone involved with Fortnite is gazillionaires. So this rapper's like, what the fuck? You like selling my dance in the game for, $10 or $20.
I think
making millions.
I think that's the big key here, right? Is that they're selling it. I don't think that almost any of these rappers or other people that end up with their dances in the game would care so much, except that Epic is selling them and making money off of them.
And these dances are memes, and they're memes because of the dances, and they're memes because of Fortnite. It's like, it's not like Fortnite didn't put these dances on. They existed before Fortnite, but of course Fortnite has also shot spotlight on a lot of these dances even more so than they already had, right? Like, you see kids, I don't know if
though, because there's not a precedent though for this, like as far as there is no copyright law when it comes to dance moves, right?
So doesn't mean that there can't be a precedent. So I think it's interesting because, like, I don't know, Chance the Rapper's like, well, what they should do is put the rapper's song behind the emote and then give
or at least give like a thing at the bottom of the emote saying like created by or
I think
something.
He came up with that. So, well, yeah, that's true. If you said this is Millie 2's dance, here's his album, there might be some runoff sales on his album and he might benefit because of that, right?
Yeah.
Which is I think it's, this is the classic I took your meme viral video and put it on my page, and I got 1 million views, and you got none, even though it's your video. Right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like you put the source on it, or you don't. Whatever. It's up to you. Like, I don't know. Like, you saw that tweet, that Hadouken post I put on our Instagram or Twitter. That blew up. The original, I got a link there of the source of where I found it. It was on Reddit, and it points directly to the guy who made it. The guy who made it, his Twitter account, he's got like single-digit likes on it. I think we're like in the hundreds or something ridiculous. For some random reason, that tweet blew up. It might have to do with the fact that Corey Barlog, I think, retweeted it. But
that can help.
Either way, I said where I got it from, right? At the very least, it would be nice if Fortnite said this dance came from this guy. You know? Then their name gets.
I think honestly, like it would be easy for them to.
Oh, absolutely. In my opinion, I honestly think that they should give them money. To be honest, I would like to see a precedent because it's something someone created. It's not different than anything else. It's an asset you put in your game off of someone else's creation, whether it be music. I know it is a very tricky subject, but at the same time, I think the nice thing to do would be to give credit and maybe give them a little bit of a kickback. And if you don't like that, take the dances out, and then that leaves Fortnite with 0 dances. Because I don't know how many original ones there are, but I'm pretty sure they're in the single digits, because most of them are all memes and from other sources.
Yeah, I don't know like where this goes.
I know,
like,
it's tricky. It's a tricky one.
Like it's a super tricky thing, and like
I'm pretty sure there are already lawyers.
For the individuals that go out there and they like try to come up with their signature move or whatever. Like on one hand, their signature move is now 1 million times more popular than it was before. Like, I'm not gonna lie, we just talked about a guy named 2 Milli. I have no fucking clue who that guy is. No idea. I've never heard that name before. You and I were talking about it. So the fact that we are literally talking about this, there you go. He just, like, already he's more popular than he was before we had this conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I'm pretty sure there are lawyers on it at this very moment.
Well, I mean, it always begs the question of, you know, Epic, do they start paying these people for it? Because in a weird way, then are they admitting that what they're doing? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a weird thing. So then, what? So then they start paying somebody else, and then somebody else comes out of the woodwork and says, "Well, they're not the ones that started. I'm actually like." Where does that end? You know what I mean?
That's
like
for the courts to decide.
Yeah, and I feel like at this point, that's exactly what they're already thinking.
Me. The genie, the rabbit's out of the hat, the genie's out of the lamp, the whatever cat's out of the bag now on this. This has made stories and ripples. Someone's on this already. Guarantee you Epic's lawyers are already suiting up for protecting themselves, and others are already probably filing suits against them. That's the problem.
Right.
When you start making so much money and get so much attention, it's just inevitable that this stuff comes. I don't know. I see it like any other creation. Like, I don't know. It is tricky because dance moves, but if no one else ever did it before, you essentially created something. It's no different than creating music or art. It is an art. Dancing is an art.
Yeah.
Like, painting's an art. Like, if they took assets from another game and reskinned them, they would get in shit for that. Like if they took music, they had to pay someone. Like, I don't know. I think it's... But at the same time, yeah, I guess it is tricky because dancing is movement or motion of, like you said, the slippery slope of who did it first. Maybe they didn't do it; they got it from someone else, right?
You know, maybe they saw it somewhere, but they're the ones that made it popular.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like it's like I don't know, and I think that's like I don't know. I feel like that is a slippery slope, and it descends into chaos. How's that?
Epic, give me and Dane a bunch of money, so we can take all our listeners on a really cool like gaming convention trip and party.
That'd be rad.
And
done.
Like, yeah. Do something cool with all your money. Seriously. Instead of just giving it to Stupid Ninja. Here are the top 10 best-selling exclusive games since 1995.
Hold on.
Dana, give
That's a bit of a misnomer. So, okay. You're not wrong, but here are the top 10 highest money-making exclusives since 95, I feel like is a better way to put this.
Yeah.
Because this has nothing to do with amounts sold. This is based entirely on dollar amount. And I feel like that is a big distinction to make when we're talking about this. Because, like, yes, this does include every game across every platform. But in this particular case, we're going to be looking at a list here. We haven't dove into it yet. But especially the top few all have peripherals attached to them, which makes a very...
helps boost that number.
Which is big time. So, like... The why this is a story is it's because every single game in the top 10 that the MPD tracked since January of 1995 to September 2018 is a Nintendo title.
That's crazy. I would not have guessed this list in like...
No, but again, this is my point though, is it's not talking about units sold. This is purely based on dollar value. And like some of these, like that's why number one is why it's number one.
Half the games have accessories and half of them don't.
Yeah. So like number 10, Wii Sports Resort for the Nintendo Wii. So that makes sense, right? That was the one that came out when the like extra add-on thing for the Wii U came, or for the Wii came out. Number 9, Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Nintendo Wii. Number 8, Super Mario 64. I get that. That was pretty much if you owned a 64, you owned Super Mario. Number 7, Mario Kart DS. DS sold a lot of units. And the other thing I will mention too is Nintendo doesn't usually put their games on sale.
Oh, like never. Rarely.
Number 6, New Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo DS. Number 5, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, which is pretty much the same game, just on a different platform. Number 4, Wii Fit Plus. So again, there's that whole peripheral thing. Number 3, Mario Kart Wii, also peripheral thing. Number 2, Wii Play. And number 1, the number 1 selling exclusive, and I should, again, not really selling, the number 1 game that made the most money that was an exclusive is Wii Fit for the Nintendo Wii, which the only way you could buy that was with the balance board, which made it, what, $300 or something like, no, $200, I want to say. Like, it was not a cheap game.
So, yeah, the other really interesting thing about this list is that the newest title on the list is from 2009. So
wow.
No new game has cracked the list in the last 9 years.
As far as dollar amount.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I saw this list and I was like, are you nuts?
The MPD also only tracks physical copies.
They do digital now. I think when this data didn't have digital because none of these consoles had digital. I don't think they do digital now. I follow Matt. I follow Matt from MPD on
the Wii had a digital storefront.
Virtual Console.
I don't know. Remember how many games? Yeah, you might be right.
I don't remember.
DS also, you could buy games for the DS on the store, couldn't you?
I don't think so. Not on the DS. On the 3DS.
Forget I said anything. Yeah, the 3DS for sure.
Anyway, I follow Matt on Twitter. He's the MPD guy who created this information and released this bombshell the other day. They definitely do digital now. Because I've seen some tweets of his saying, like, I don't know, people have made stories about like games being down and this and that, and he's like, oh, only if they had the digital numbers and knew what we knew, for anyone poo-pooing on stuff, because digital, apparently, I think in the last 2 years has like blown the F up.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, it makes sense. There's a lot of people clinging to their physical media.
Download it. Well, like I get it if you're in an area that's like got shitty internet or whatever, and like but even now with day one patches and stuff, like does that really help you? Like
I like physical, hate physical. Like I like physical in that I can lend the game to like my bro. But then I hate it
or me
because for me I use remote play a lot. The second I have
if you don't have the game in your console,
the second I have a physical game, it's not part of I can play it anywhere, anytime.
You got to remember to have it in your console, otherwise,
which isn't the biggest deal in the world. But like when I was looking at buying some games recently, like, oh, do I buy Tetris digitally or physically? I'm like, if I buy it digitally, I can play it anywhere. If I buy it physically, I'm screwed. But right now, I have Red Dead physically sitting in my drive, so it's like, am I kicking Red Dead out for Tetris just so I can play it on the road? Probably not.
Probably. Oh, sorry.
So, anyway, moving along.
Speaking of being able to play games anywhere, Smite hits Nintendo Switch next year.
Yeah. I put that. You got to be excited.
That's all you got. I don't think this is going to be the best way to play this game. I don't know.
It'll be an interesting way to play it.
Smite's come out on PS4 and Xbox One, and I played a little bit on my Xbox One when it first came out. I still go back to the PC.
Apparently, this lets you play with people from PC and Mac via Steam, the PC launcher, Xbox One when it comes out, the Switch version. No word on PS4 crossplay. You'll have access to all your in-game content across all your linked accounts. So for you, that's like everything.
Yeah, it's all the heroes at least. Whoop whoop. It's pretty rad.
No,
it's cool. I don't know.
I might actually
I don't know
try
how,
it on Switch.
Again, not the best way to play that game.
No, but
on a console.
Speaking of Switch, Warframe is now out on Switch.
It is.
I should download that.
I just think it's cool because the more people playing Smite, that's rad. Because that game's still really fucking good, and I still play it more than I talk about on this show.
Yeah, it's your like go-to.
It's like that thing that I keep installed, and I constantly and we'll go back and play like a match here and a match there.
Let's jump in for a second.
Yep.
Nintendo has no plans to release an N64 Classic right now. It's not permanent
because they're making too much money in the whole Switch.
It's not permanently ruled out, but definitely not happening anytime soon. These are speaking with Kotaku. Reggie Fils-Ami poured some cold water on the idea because everyone's been speculating like any day now we're going to add an N64 mini announcement and classic announcement.
Nah.
And he basically said, we were clear when we did the first two classic series that for us, these were limited time opportunities that were a way for us as a business to bridge from the conclusion of the Wii U as a hardware system to the launch of the Switch. Fils-Ami said that was a very strategic reason we launched the NES Classic and then obviously the Super Nintendo Classic. To be honest, in my opinion, I don't think they should release an N64 Classic.
I don't think they should either. I don't think that Sony should have released a PlayStation Classic because I still stand by I still stand by my statement that those particular generation does not age
the games
well.
are like barf.
It's like you have them in your brain and you remember how awesome GoldenEye was and
but
stuff
really,
like that.
It's terrible. GoldenEye's
and then you go play it now and you're just like, oh, the controls are awful and this game looks so muddy and there's no textures.
Don't get me wrong.
The fog. The fog.
I loved GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64. We played tons of them. But that was the same era as when I built my first PC and started playing like Doom and Quake and Duke Nukem multiplayer. And it's like, oh my God, GoldenEye is like barf. Like you can't even see what's on the screen. Like I don't understand how we even play this after playing those other shooters.
Yeah. So yeah, that generation was just like, again, they were amazing for their time, but they just have not.
Don't get me wrong.
Well.
I'm going to buy these.
They're hard to go back.
I'm going to buy these stupid classic systems to add to my shelf of
course
stupid
you will.
Classic systems.
I won't.
But
Right.
it's like, I don't know. I don't think...
But you're an idiot with more money than brains. So, I mean, it makes sense.
I don't think they should make an N64 classic. Like, number one, there's going to be so many issues with licensing. The best N64 games are all Rare games. Rare belongs to freaking Microsoft. And like you said, most of those games...
Not just that, but like, not only is Rare owned by Microsoft, but like, say GoldenEye, for example, that was... Like, you got the 007, you got the James Bond licensing, you've got the likeness licensing, you got, like...
yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Anyway, good news, bad news. I guess bad news for super fans. For me, I don't really care. We already got the two best... Well, actually, in my opinion, the best classic system is the Super Nintendo. But, whatever.
I wish they made a good Genesis Mini.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm not going to lie. Actually, I would probably be the most excited.
They have that newer one coming, but it's made by the same people that made
It's still
the existing
garbage.
crappy one, right?
I would love to have a TurboGrafx 16 Classic. That would be rad.
And
I would buy that.
For all the Amiibo lovers out there.
Oh, are you kidding me? You snuck this fucker in there.
In Japan, Nintendo will sell all 63 Amiibo in one enormous box.
So how many have you pre-ordered?
I pre-ordered all 50 of them.
Oh, wow. There's only 50 of these? How much of these
so
got
it's
to
on
cost?
Amazon. There's no price. I don't think there's a link. No release word on whether this will be released outside of Japan. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Why on earth are they only doing 50 of these? Like, I feel like they could... Every time Nintendo comes up with an idea, every time, it's like they take it almost all the way there, and then they just drop the ball. It's like...
Dane,
looking at somebody like you, if they released this here for $500, you'd fucking buy 3 of these.
Pokemon, or not Pokemon, Amiibo were like $15 each. This set would cost you $945.
Exactly, and you'd still buy 2.
The later half, you're not wrong. But I don't need it because I have.
This is my point. Right, but you'd still buy 2. This is my point. It's like Nintendo gets these brilliant ideas like, holy shit, let's come out with Amiibo in the first place. But then they drop the ball. Let's also make them useless as fuck so nobody gives a shit about them. Like me. Like, if these were like Skylanders, do you have any idea how many fucking Skylanders I have because they were useful in a multitude of games?
Yeah, Skylanders look like crap and have crappy designs. These are amazing Nintendo collectibles.
That's what I would have with these if they made these useful, but they didn't. So I have one.
Yeah.
I have one fucking Zelda one because I caved one time. I still have it, and who knows how long for. But anyways, but again, they're only going to make 50 of these boxes. The fuck? Why?
Because I think it's too expensive.
Like, hey guys, just like fucking print money here. Like, let's sell as many of these as people want to buy. Put a pre-order out there and say we will make as many as fucking people pre-order, and then another several thousand on top of that, and put them out into the wild. Like,
I don't think these would sell very many, to be honest. That's a lot of money for Amiibo. Like,
the amount of people that ran out every single time. Like, you were a fucking Amiibo dealer for a while. You were like a crackhead or a crack dealer with your fucking Amiibo back in the beginning. And so the fact that these were so hard to find tells me that there's clearly a market for this. Like,
and they're hard to find again.
This is
if you've gotten
Nintendo.
into them now, like as a new Switch user who skipped the Wii U,
oh, you're fucked.
Like,
yeah, no,
it's hard again.
But again, like, why didn't they ever release a Pokemon game with Amiibo and you have to catch them all? Again, print fucking money.
I think Nintendo doesn't have a problem with that right now. But it's crazy. I don't know. I don't think, even if it wasn't limited, I do not think I would buy one because I have them all. So
you would have bought one because then you'd have a perfect, complete set and they'd all be in their box. And you'd have your little poster.
Mine are all open.
I know you
on display.
This is classic Rick. I wouldn't buy that. I already have them all. And then as soon as it came out, yeah, I'm an idiot. I pre-ordered 2.
It's kind of funny.
So, anyways, moving on.
The biggest news of the week, and we had obviously a question in our Discord about this from Cly Guy aka Big B Brian. I don't know if he likes being called that at all.
I was like, Big B, where'd that come from? I don't know.
He's like a gangster rapper all of a sudden. Why not?
That's really funny to think about.
He was wondering what our reaction was because this dropped literally after we recorded. PlayStation is skipping E3.
Yeah, Sony's like, out, bitches.
A lot of people were like fucking going crazy over this story. Me for one, it makes absolute total sense that they're dropping E3. People are like, oh, this is a stupid move. This is bad. What are they doing to their fans? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, this is fine. What are they doing for their fans? They're going to make an event for their fans, whether it be before or after E3. They're going to do something different. They don't need E3. I know Sony's one of the biggest tentpoles at E3, and they get a lot of attention. But whether they do their event at E3, a month after E3, 2 months before E3, it's still going to be the same 2 million live viewers. E3 doesn't get them any more attention. If anything, it dilutes their message with being next to Microsoft and Nintendo and whatever other nonsense happens at E3. So it makes total sense to just do your own thing. Like, why not? And also save a shitload of money and not having to be in the convention center and doing a press conference and get critiqued for everything you do at E3, you know? What did they do compared to what's his nuts? So it totally makes sense. And people are like, oh, they have nothing to show. I'm like, they have shit to show. They just feel like they can do it a better way. Like, I know the silence makes some people all like skittish, like, oh no, Sony, it's the old arrogant Sony and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, Sony's pretty smart though at the same time. I don't really think they want to fumble and frickin', hand over the game to Microsoft. I don't think they're quite prepared to be that boneheaded.
That's the only aspect of this that I feel like in a weird way they're sort of... So like you said, by not programming anything around E3, it allows them to move their message and their games
front and center
hardware, if that's the
for
case.
More than a 3-day news cycle. The only message
to whenever they want, for
not
sure,
compared to anything else, and totally focused. Because let's be honest, whatever they do, whatever event they do, they're going to have all their streamers and YouTubers and this and that. And instead of getting
that's actually the part that actually bothers me, I think, the most about it. Is that the one thing that I felt like E3 is that there was a legitimacy to E3. Since EA has moved away from E3, I feel like in a weird way, at least for me, they've become not less relevant, but like I've really hated their past presentations with the like fucking streamer wannabes and the like celebrity taunts and everybody else showing up, and like I do not like that at all. It's awful. I felt like there was a legitimacy to E3 with the press conferences. It felt very much like this is a business. We understand that, but it's also fun.
It was
like,
a trade show.
And I like that. But again, I'm also old and I've been watching E3 since the very beginning. So I mean, I realize that I'm maybe an outlier on this. The other thing I will say is I agree with everything you said. The only other thing is that in a weird way, by walking away from E3, it kind of allows Microsoft, by not being there, you're not helping to dilute your competitor either. Like, now Microsoft, like Nintendo is kind of in a weird spot because like they've
transitioned years ago with the Nintendo Direct, but they have a show presence. And Microsoft,
they have a show presence and they kind of do their thing, but like now Microsoft has no Sony or anybody to compare themselves with.
You got to remember at the same time, Microsoft also had a reduced show presence. They weren't in the show floor. They were in their own venue.
Well, they had their mixer booth, and they were still very.
They were at
much
the Microsoft
in and around
Theater,
the
which
show,
was
right?
totally disconnected. right? It wasn't in the show hall. It obviously it had the fan fest and got all the Xbox hardcores, but I think they suffered as well because, to be honest, I don't think a lot of mainstream press made a lot of time to go to their venue.
I mean, one could also
Same
argue
with the
like
EA
this
Play.
last E3, what did they have
That's
though? Right?
true. They had not
like
the best
like
lineup in
Microsoft.
the
I
world.
just mean like this year they, like this year was a weird year because even Sony, they were only really showing off a couple of games.
Sony had the weird press conference, but they
Yeah.
still had some awesome games. Like they had Spider-Man.
For sure.
A lot of awesome games. And then, of course, like Microsoft's like right now, they're the rookie team building up. They're building their team right now, right? Stacking their deck. They're loading up for a couple of years from now for like a Stanley Cup run. Whereas
for sure.
PlayStation's just come off like a repeat of, winning. But at the same time, now you get a little complacent, right? But I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a bad thing to be on. Like,
I don't either. I'm just looking at it kind of from all angles, and by walking away, you do kind of give your competitor that that opportunity to just everybody.
It's true, but they still
everybody is going to be, because the other thing I think too that I do think that maybe Sony is forgetting about this move is the fact that like a lot of non-traditional games media show up for E3.
Yeah, to be honest, not
like
I've been to E3 last few years. Not as much as it used to be. They get a 5-minute blip on the local LA news. Like it's kind of embarrassing how little outside mainstream media it gets compared to what it used to.
I just mean like outside of fucking IGN and GameSpot and like those big sites,
like mainstream
like
media.
There's like the newspapers and like the television networks and things like that, and like it's weird to me, like in working in IT like I do, having people randomly will ask you about shit because they saw it on the 5 o'clock news. And because E3 was that big thing, when you drop something big that was newsworthy there, it can end up on the 5 o'clock
but
news.
It does. The only time it does is when there's new console launches. I haven't seen that moment in a while now. Ever since the streaming YouTube stuff that's been happening in a few years, I feel like the impact of E3 has been less and less and less because there's just so many silos with the information now. Like you don't need the one giant source anymore. So it's like, I think that's another reason why Sony's like, we don't need it because all those same people and all those same eyeballs are going to follow us wherever we go. And if we announce PS5, we don't need E3. Like, it's going to get in every news channel and source, even out of the gaming. Like our little... I don't know. I think it's smart, honestly. Why pay millions and millions of dollars when you can just totally control the... Like, E3 is not cheap.
No, not even a little bit.
It's not cheap. I don't know. I've said, I'm sure I've said it on the show. I've said it to you. I know personally, and I'm pretty sure I said on the show, like, I'm not planning to go to E3 next year. And I've said it to you, and I think I've said it on the show. I'm pretty, like, all signs point to next year being one of those off years.
People who listened to our show have known for the past 2 years prior to this one upcoming, you've also said, I'm not going to go to E3.
Because of
and then you've gone to
expense,
E3.
But I didn't say I wasn't going to go. My message here is I don't want to go because next year's not going to be a good E3. It's going to be lacking for titles. We're in between generations right now, and the big guns are being saved for next year or even the year after. A lot of the stuff at E3 next year is going to be totally recycled stuff and or all stuff that we know currently, like the stuff that they showed last year. So it's like next year's just kind of shaping up to like, there's not going to be any new crazy stuff because they're going to save that for the PS5 and the Xbox 2 or whatever the fuck they're going to call it. Like, I don't know. It makes total sense.
What are they going to
call it?
It
just kind of makes me feel like good and right about my instinct that I don't need to go to E3 next year. It's definitely going to be a weird show. Everyone at the show is going to be talking about, hey, it's crazy, Sony's not here. That's going to be what people are going to be talking about at E3 next year.
Maybe. We'll see. It'll be a very interesting. This will be a very interesting E3. That's for sure.
Unless it's like some calculated move that they're pulling out to see if they can force Microsoft's hand to reveal their next system, and then Sony's like waits for after E3 and is like, well, here's our new system. It's better than theirs because we know what they're doing and we delayed basically 6 months. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, because Microsoft could be like, oh, this is our chance. We'll control the moment. We'll release the new Xbox Scorpio. We'll have everything. And then it's like, ha, 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 you did exactly what we wanted. Thank you. Okay, we're doing 16 gigs. We're doing the, extra cores, and we got the better version.
I think Sony would be really smart to do a similar thing with the last generation, where they announced their console earlier. They announced the PS5 before the Xbox One, but they didn't, obviously release date and the PS4. So they announced the PS4. They didn't announce a release date, and they didn't announce like full 100% hardware specs, and they didn't announce a release date. All they said was like fall or whatever, right? That was smart because it got people thinking about it first, and then the Xbox One went. Then, of course, obviously the Xbox One had their horrible E3 showing, and Sony came out, just a few hours later with a rebuttal that completely like annihilated. But I feel like that was smart though to get their initial message out there first. Like, this is the PS4. This is what it looks like. It's coming. It's sexy. You want it. I feel like that was smart. That being said, I feel like these consoles are probably, if I had to put money on it, I would say 2020. I feel like maybe you announce fall of next year, but release either in the spring of 2020.
Well, yeah, when they did the PS4, they announced it in the spring and it came out in the fall of 2013.
Yeah, exactly.
And that E3 was the first year that was hands-on for Xbone and PS4.
Yeah. So, that was a smart move. I feel like that was good of them. They came out on stage, PS4, $399. Boom. It was $100 cheaper than the Xbox One. And then of course, once they finally launched, that's when we also learned that it was faster than the original Xbox One as well. So that was also
so not only did you have the
feather in the cap,
messaging
right?
of not online, you could trade games, and it was faster. Meanwhile, Xbox was like bogged down with it's lower resolution, it's worse versions, and you had to be online, even though that wasn't the truth because they backpedaled on that. But that is too late to take that messaging back. The damage was,
and it was more expensive.
And it was more expensive. The damage was
because they were pushing the Kinect with
damage,
it. Every one of them, they were only selling with the Kinect, and that was brutal because it added that extra $100, right? Because I didn't even buy one at launch. I waited till they released the packages without the Kinect because I was like, I don't fucking want to Kinect.
One at launch.
You got that cool little launch edition.
I don't have it anymore. My brother has it now.
Oh, okay.
But his kids love the Kinect.
It had
Waving
a place.
their hands around.
It just wasn't for me. I think that Sony skipping.
I'm super intrigued.
I feel like this is either going to work out really well for them.
Work out in their favor. I'm intrigued to see what they have up their sleeve because clearly they have something up their sleeve.
Oh yeah,
that's why you would do some kind of megaton move like this.
Yeah,
but it's kind of funny the way this story came out was it was like in the ESA's like press release for
their
E3,
lineup for
like
E3
exhibitors and stuff, and it's like it was kind of like, wait a minute, someone's like, where the fuck's Sony? And then they went to and they're like, hey Sony, you're not on this list. You're not going. Yeah, no, we're not going. We're not having a presence. We're not having an outside event. We're not having an event during. We're not having a press conference. We're just nothing. We're cool. We're cool.
Yep. We're good.
Peace.
Yeah.
Moving along. Astro C40 TR controller arrives in early 2019. This is kind kind of Elite-esque wannabe controller for PlayStation made by Astro with customized analog stick and D-pad placement you could move around.
So Astro got bought out by Logitech.
So essentially it's a Logitech controller.
So this is essentially a Logitech controller with a Astro name on it.
I think it looks
I've got to wonder. I
got
gotta
to hold it
ask.
in my hand though to like be the total judge. It kind of looks like an Xbox controller, to be honest.
Yeah, that button placement.
But you
would be
can
that.
offset the stick, so if you like the 360, you've got the customizable like trigger stops. Like it's like really expensive.
My question with this is, why doesn't Sony just make their own Elite controller? Why don't they make a PlayStation Pro controller?
I don't think it's a very good, to be honest, in my opinion, I don't think it makes a lot of money.
You don't think that Microsoft doesn't make money hand over fist selling those Elite controllers?
I don't know. I think when you start getting into the premium parts and the metals and all that stuff, I think it just makes it... I'm sure they make money. It's
all
just
mass-produced, man.
But there's a return on investment, right? Like, you draw a line.
I still
like,
think give the people what they want, and if people are buying $200,
it is weird.
Xbox controllers. Why?
I feel like,
and if enough third-party people are looking at it, going like, "Shit, we want in on some of that our Xbox One Elite controller money."
I feel like
clearly there's got to be something there.
I feel like you're right. Like, if Sony made a first-party Elite controller, I would have it already. I don't have an Elite on the Xbox,
right?
And the reason I don't is because the second I buy it, they're going to release the updated fucking version, and I'll be super pissed.
With Bluetooth?
With Bluetooth and USB-C and whatever else stuff they throw in there. Like, I want an Elite controller so I can use it on my PC and my Xbox. But was it earlier this year they had the leaks of the updated version, and it's still nowhere to be seen? Like, they released a white one, but it's still the same...
Everybody thought they were going to announce it at E3, and then it didn't happen this year.
Gamescom, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen at XO18. It's just like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So maybe they're not so up on the Elite thing too. Anyway, it's interesting. It's not for me. It's too expensive. I'm very happy with the stock controllers both systems have are very good.
Yeah, same.
Plus,
they're great.
I think
can't
it's
really
an ugly
complain at all.
So.
It's kind of like got a shitty carbon fiber look to it, and I don't know. It's not for me.
Moving along to Xbox news. Apparently, there's a rumor that Microsoft's considering building a diskless Xbox for release in 2019. This was reported by Thurrott.com, which is a news site that primarily deals in Microsoft and Windows. They have some gaming news now, I guess, because they got a gaming editor. And they... published a story that apparently that this next system could be released sometime next year for as little as $200 or less, and it would basically be a diskless I believe it's just an Xbox One S essentially.
Yeah, pretty much an Xbox One S without a disk controller, like a disk drive.
So I don't know. It's interesting. It's kind of weird, especially considering right now with the Black Friday sales, you've got $200 systems right now with disk drives and games. So it's just kind of weird because like if you can do that now, you could do it in future, right?
Maybe they're going to test the waters a little bit.
I don't know.
Like,
to me, it kind of points to that. Remember how everyone's like, I'm not trying to defend the PS4 Pro. I think it's fucking stupid that it doesn't have a Blu-ray 4K drive in it. But
I agree.
This is the exact reason why if this system comes out, the exact reason this system exists is because that goddamn 4K Blu-ray drive is the only way to cut the most amount of cost out of your system by getting rid of it. Yeah. The neat thing about this rumor is that apparently that they're going to have some kind of system that you can go to retail stores, they're saying, and take your discs in and get digital copies.
Yeah, so you could essentially, you could more or less unlock a digital copy of the games that you own. Which is kind
of cool if that happens.
It's a neat idea.
I'd like to convert all my shit.
My question is like, how does that work though? Because then you could essentially just borrow games from friends and unlock them on your account.
They take
that's
the
thing
disc. You don't get the disc back.
Oh,
They take the disc.
they essentially like you give the disc to them, and they give you like
Microsoft
a key,
gives you a key.
or it ends up on like your Microsoft account or whatever, or your like Xbox
And
account.
Microsoft Store specifically mentioned in the story.
That'd
That's
be interesting.
Hey, whatever.
Time will tell.
Anything to get system costs down. I don't know. It's not for me. That's clearly just a low price point break into the market type thing, right? But $200 for an S or less, it's an awesome system. 4K streaming services and your games. The cheaper, the better. Xbox and PS4 are awesome systems.
Yeah, they are.
Final Fantasy 13 came out on Xbox One X. Backwards compat. This is one of those XO18 announcements. Apparently, it's a very pretty, very excellent back-compat upgrade. So
Yeah, if only the game was good.
yeah.
Probably one of the most disappointing Final Fantasy games. That was the beginning of... That was the first Final Fantasy game in a very, very long time that I did not
Yeah,
play through and
I
finish.
started
Like
and
it,
stopped.
I got halfway
I
through
didn't
and
even get that far.
I got like a quarter of the way.
I don't
through
think I even got a
and I
quarter.
stopped, like-
I got a couple hours in, and I'm like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah, it was not a good Final Fantasy game. That being said, they're doing all of all of the
them.
games. So Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 13-2, and Lightning Returns are all back compat. Cool if you were a fan of those.
PSAs, I don't kind of have them, don't have them. It's freaking Black Friday right now. Steam has their sale going on.
Steam's autumn sale is on right now,
Xbox-
so that'll be on till next week.
Xbox Live has their sale on. There's actually some. I was contemplating buying Burnout Paradise. It's like $10 there.
Ooh.
PSN has theirs as well. You know, all your digital stores right now.
Spider-Man is $50 in Canada right now.
Gaming.
So if you've been on the fence with it, go buy it.
I guess we're not
great.
really into the deals too much, but obviously I think some of the highlights are the PS4 Spider-Man bundles, like $200 US. That's crazy. That's, you know,
That's get a PS4 plus Spider-Man for $200.
that's basically
That's
$150
pretty awesome.
PS4. Like an awesome game, and the PS4. That's not a bad deal.
Also, if
Xbox
you're
has some
interested
good
in
deals as well.
buying an OLED TV right now, Best Buy's got ridiculous prices on those. They're offering anywhere between $800 and $1,200 off of OLEDs. And so it still makes them very expensive, but pretty freaking rad.
The One X is the lowest it's been since launch, I believe, as well. I think even the Switch, there's some pretty good deals in the Switch right now. I think right now, well, this will probably be done by the time this goes live. I think I saw him on, this is Canadian dollars, a Switch for like $350 Canadian on eBay, and plus you can get an additional 15% off, which will push you down closer to $300. That'd
be all right.
Pretty good. But I think they have a decent Mario Kart bundle, which is basically the game for free. So yeah, everyone be safe on your Black Friday shopping.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about any of our listeners getting trampled.
Moving into our free-for-all section before we wrap it up here.
If it does, though, that being said, I do want to hear about it because that'd be not funny, but really funny at the same time.
If you got trampled?
Yeah, that.
I don't know if it's that bad.
I have a dark sense of humor.
I
Leave
guess
me alone.
it's that bad, but
I said leave me alone.
Free-for-all section. I indulged in some since Black Friday starts like after Christmas ends last year.
After Halloween ends, you mean?
It's getting worse. Starts in July.
Oh, got you. Well, that's those Christmas in July sales, bro.
Okay,
come on.
Yeah. And then Black Friday starts in August.
Exactly.
I took part
when pumpkin spice season happens. That's when Black Friday season happens.
Oh man, I saw Canadian Tire flyer today, and it was like Red Thursday. I'm like, really? Stop.
Yeah.
So I took part in a Black Friday deal. Fossil had their smartwatches on sale, and I've been humming and hawing about one of the new Fossil Sports ones but they weren't on sale. Actually, you know what's really funny is their site has a site-wide Black Friday site. If you try to access bookmarks or links or search for the sport watch, which is their new one, you can't find it. Pages just come up in maintenance. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So you guys just like don't want to give the deal on that watch. You've just kind of broken the pages to them. Nice. But after doing some research, I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of cheap looking and it's expensive. It's expensive, not expensive. For a smart watch, it's pretty cheap, but it's $350
Right.
Canadian, $255 like US. But they have like 30% off all their watches. So I got an Explorist HR. It's a Gen 4. It's not a Snapdragon 3100. It's 2100. But after doing a bunch of research and stuff, people with 3100 watches said they barely notice any difference. So it's obviously new Android Wear, Google Pay, GPS, heart rate, all that shit. It's a nice looking freaking watch, man. I've been using it all day today. I'm very happy. And I got on a Black Friday deal. It was like $244 Canadian.
That's wicked.
So I'm definitely
very nice. Is that got wireless charging?
Yeah, it's got like a little dongle or whatever. Not, like thing you slap on the back. It's wireless.
So it is wireless charging?
It magnets onto the back. So I don't know if it's got Qi, if I could just put it on my wireless chargers or not too. I'm not sure. Pretty sure they all do. But yeah, it's freaking sweet, man. It's a beautiful watch. And it looks like I was running a Moto 360 for a really long time now. And that watch is... I replaced the battery in it, and it still works, but it's just gotten a little long in the tooth. This one's got, obviously, a bunch of upgrades. The new Wear OS that the other one didn't have. The Google Pay, which is really... I'm super excited to use all the Google Fit stuff. Like, it's a slick watch, man. I really like it. I'm so happy.
Right on, man.
I'm not so upset about not having the newest chipset because I don't know. To be honest, the Sport looks kind of cheap. It's not as nice. This looks like a nice watch. Metal band looks good.
The 3100 hasn't been out long enough and isn't in enough actual watches yet. In my opinion, like it's still at that like weird. Yeah,
I think when the Black Friday deals go next year, I might upgrade to one of those, and maybe they'll actually take advantage of all the new stuff. But anyway, it's a cool watch. I really like it. I like my old one, but it was ancient. Cool. That thing's like a freaking slug compared to this thing. This thing flies. Plus, it has all the apps. It's got dials, multiple buttons, which the other one didn't have. It's got a very vivid, nice display. Like the display on my other watch was kind of pooey.
Yeah, it's also like, what, 4 years old at this point?
It was pretty old. They got the... Obviously, you can do your Google Assistant stuff on here, voice commands, do texts. And this one, with the new Wear OS, you can actually you can type. It's got a keyboard on it. That's how I replied. That's how I replied to your text message, because I had the daughter in the bath when you texted me earlier, and I just typed out that reply on my watch. Which I could have spoke to my watch as well, but whatever. That's waterproof. It's swim proof. You can swim with this watch.
Oh, that's key, sweet, man. That's key. If you're going to wear a watch, I feel like it needs to be at least water resistant. Even better if you could go swimming. Yeah, I like how it has all the Google Fit stuff. It might be a little heavy for a workout watch, but whatever. No. Watches are supposed to be hefty, man. Yeah, well, that's it. A lot of quality, they get some heft to them. I was reading... I hate it when that's one of the things with the Moto 360 that actually bothered me when I first was playing with it. I was cheap. It felt too light and kind of cheap. That's the complaints that people have about the new Sport, the Fossil Sport. Though it's got the new chipset and it's shiny. It's very light. I don't know. I looked at it more and more, and I'm like, this thing looks like a toy. It just looks like a Fitbit or some stupid. I don't know. Yeah, clearly. I feel like smartwatches. That's the one area where, they need to figure out their price better. I think they're in a weird spot where, at the $300 to $400 price range. I don't think that people are. I don't know. I think it's a hard sell for people at that price point. I didn't want. That's why Fitbit and the rest of these companies are $400 destroying. Watch, not on sale. Right. That's too much money. Yeah. So, and that's my point, right? Like, it's just it's too much money to ask people to like for that type of stuff, right?
And mind you, it's a bargain compared to the Apple ones.
Yeah. That being said, though, like, you know, there's two people in my company that have the Apple one, and as much as it pains me to say, it's a lot more useful than the Android ones in general.
I don't know. Compared to this new one, I would say less so, but I don't know. I think the Apple Watches look like toys. I don't like the way they look.
I don't like the design of them. Like that, I won't argue with. I don't think they look good, but I can't argue with like their
Apple's definitely
like, that is one thing like,
in that OS, which you know.
Oh, absolutely, right? Which that Wear OS is like the bastard stepchild of like it's just. And on top of that, there's only like Qualcomm is the only company making like chipsets for smartwatches.
Like Samsung does their own thing,
like,
but
right, but it runs on their own OS, and then you gotta if you don't own a Samsung phone, you gotta own.
But I don't like it doesn't. I don't want to use Samsung Pay. I want Google Pay. I want it to integrate with my Google shit. I don't want your Samsung crap. I don't want Bixby. Like, F off with your crap.
You don't want to have to download all their extra crap.
There was rumors that the Galaxy Watch was going to have Wear OS.
That would have been
I would have bought a Galaxy Watch, but I'm not doing Tizen, and I don't want in on anything Samsung. I'm sorry. No, thank you. I like your stuff. I don't like your environments. Like, your OSs, like your software, your bullshit. Especially after getting the Pixel phone. I'm so not down with people's walled gardens and crap anymore. It's just like, nope.
Yeah.
Dane, with that, I'm going to say we have a show.
That's it. That's all you get.
Episode 182 is in the gigabits and in your ear holes. You can follow me on Twitter at RickF,
You can always come and hang out with me on Twitter at Dane Cody at DAYNECODY.
Make sure to like, follow, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitters. We're Geekoholics everywhere. Very easy to find us. Even simpler, visit Geekoholics.com for links to all the social media, links to the podcasts, the different podcast platforms as well. And of course, if you're one of the people out there who's listening to us on an Apple device or any platform that has reviews, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or other. I don't even know if there are others that really do. I've never seen other podcasting review services, but whatever. If you can leave us a review wherever you find us or wherever you've listened to us, or share with a friend, that would be fantastic. We don't ask for much. Besides your time listening to us rant and rave and talk like idiots for the last hour and a half and a bit. Actually, today was a little longer. Sorry.
We had lots of stuff to talk about.
Hitman 2 is good. Go get it. Let's Go Pikachu is good. Go get it.
Yes.
Fallout 76, not so much.
Don't go get it. Not so
I like
good.
it, but
it's a bad game.
I'm
Don't
a
listen to
broken
him.
human being, so...
Exactly. It's a bad game.
Just say
no.
next week, we're out.
Don't play Fallout.
Peace.